Okay, so I just finished a crazy roll with one of my students, Scott the Viking. Scott the Viking is a profession, works in the nursing field, a very smart individual, but very strong and very big, like a Viking. So that's why we gave him the name Scott the Viking. But not only that, he knows how to use his weight really well, and he doesn't try to overpower you, but he uses his weight in a very smart way. So you'll see us scramble, and I go for a few things, and I'm just kind of worried because of how big he is. He weighs about, he said it was okay I share this with you, he weighs about 290, but a lot of it's muscles. He's a big, strong dude, and he's very, very smart. So he's very technical. He's been training with me for a while now, and he weighs about twice my size, actually more than twice my size, because I walk around at around 140, 145. He weighs 290. So if you do the math, it's more than double my weight. And so I wanted to showcase my jiu-jitsu, and now you're gonna see that my tactics have to change tremendously because of how big and strong he is. And also, I was really, really impressed by his way of using his technique and using his weight in a smart way. What I mean by that is he wasn't spazzing. He wasn't just like trying to, go through my guard like a wrecking ball. He was really just focused on being technical, sprawling when he needed to, going for the front headlock, getting an underhook, really controlling my posture, going for shots and getting single legs. It was a really fun roll, and I think you guys will enjoy this. So like always, leave in the comment section what you liked about it, and hope you guys get to enjoy my roll with Scott the Viking. Here we go, Scott the Viking. One of the baddest dudes at the school. He's one of the biggest, strongest, probably one of the most intelligent too. Has a pretty good academic background, studies a lot, and you could see it in his training. So instead of just being spazzy and using his size, he's using his size in a very technical way. He's hand fighting. He's a quick dude for someone his size. He's over 290. I'm about 140, 145. So he's more than twice my weight. So my goal is simple. I want to shoot in for a low leg single. So I'm working the inside, and I don't want to clinch with him. And I shoot for a low leg single, but this is where I mess up. I pause. I don't drive my upper body, and instead of driving or switching to that other ankle, you see how I'm close to that ankle, I stop. So he's able to sprawl, use a front headlock on me. That's a lot of leverage and a lot of Scott. So it's hard for me to even move at this point. I'm prioritizing the submission, so I'm grabbing his wrist and his forearm. I don't want to get choked. He switches around to the back, very impressed. And here's where I have to make a quick decision. I need to just use my quickness and agility to get out. So I hand fight a little bit. I turn the corner, and I'm able to sneak out. I just took advantage of my speed. But if he had just held me a little bit longer and used his weight, it would have been much harder, and I would probably have to retreat to my guard. So he goes for a single leg, does a good job, and we start fighting here. My balance is pretty good, so I'm not worried, but I'm just trying to cup the back of his head and to really practice on defending the single leg. He goes for a leg trip, beautiful attempt. I'm able to escape. So he goes for that single, and I switch to a front headlock. Connect the front headlock, and I'm going to drive my shoulder behind his neck and switch all the way to the back. Here's where I take advantage of that speed I mentioned. Because I'm smaller, I'm quicker, so I'm able to get both hooks. Now, if my opponent ever stands up like this in a real fight, I would immediately let go of the hooks of it's kind of like what I'm going to do right now. But we're doing a grappling match, so it's fine. But I could also leverage him down and sprawl so he can't get up. So look, I let go, I grab the torso, I keep my legs out of danger from leg locks. It's a good habit I practice. And now I'm still driving and controlling him, but then I get my hooks again. And for those people that don't grapple, he can't just stand up. It's very hard for someone who doesn't grapple to understand that. So you need a grapple to understand. You can't just stand up. That's 140 pounds. Not only 140 pounds, it's 140 pounds leveraged on your back. So I'm sprawling, and I'm driving my hips forward, and I keep switching sides. And notice I use my right foot to kind of leverage. So he's going to peel that off, which is the right thing. And then now I'm going to use my forearm. This is called like a forearm choke. I have a gable grip, and I'm going to kind of tuck my right elbow behind his shoulder blade, and I'm going to pull towards my chest. And this is a straight trachea choke. So if people don't tap here, they go out, right? They go to sleep. Just so people understand what's going on mechanically. I'm pinching my knees together, and I'm able to get the tap. So again, those of you that understand grappling know what happened here. Those of you that don't, it's a very simple system of techniques: front headlock to the back, and then back control to a choke. But again, I really want to focus on the low leg single because it's probably what I would do against a bigger guy anyway. See, so I make a few feints so he doesn't know which one is real. So I want him to, to keep on guessing. And I really want to work my wrestling. So I'm really going to try to focus on right here on this low leg single. So this time I do the right thing. I shoot for the low leg single. I drive my shoulder forward towards the shin. I cup the heel, and I wrap around his other leg so he cannot wrap around. And I'm able to get the takedown and drive forward. I keep my underhook. I drive my knee through, and now I'm in a knee cut position. I have an active post with my left foot, active post with my left hand. I'm now grabbing his wrist. Because of that underhook, he cannot come up. And those of you that grapple know this. Those of you that don't grapple, it's very hard to get up because of that underhook. It's preventing him from coming up. He's doing a good job actually defending my pressure, right? And this is what I want. I really wanted to put my pressure. So I'm going to use my right foot to windshield wipe and trap his wrist and forearm. So I trap it right there. I'm isolating the arm on the other side as well. He's going to connect his hands because he knows what's coming, and it's a spin around armbar. I'm going to use this to spin, and I'm going to use my right calf on his head as leverage. And now my whole body is attached to his shoulder. So now this is where you see technique, right? Like 140 pounds is leverage and isolating his shoulder. He tries to get his head free. I come back and throw my calf over. And I use a Kimura trap. So that Kimura grip on his arm is preventing him from coming up as well as the 140 pounds on his shoulder. So now it's 140 pounds against one limb. This is where you're able to isolate limb by limb instead of body by body, right? So now I focus on the wrist to break his grip, and I hip in. Of course, I'm being gentle because I don't want to rip his arm. So I pinch my knees, isolate the arm, and I slowly start hipping up. And as I lean out to my right, I'm also isolating his shoulder even further. And I get the tap on the hyperextension of the armbar. So game plan simple. Scott doesn't know what I want, but I do. I want that low leg single. Again, it allows me to control him. It allows me to drop at a certain level, very low to people who are tall, and allows me to use that to leverage a takedown. So I go for a low leg single. This is where I messed up. He does a good job squaring up, keeping his feet away. I should have attacked that other foot, right? His left foot. See it right there? But I don't. And I've also should have had a stronger penetration step. But this is, again, working on my wrestling and really focusing on it. I've been doing that a lot. So I really need to work on these setups more and go for more shots. So he gets a single. I immediately shoot a guillotine. Now, it's important to note, in a real fight, I would not do this. This is a grappling match. So I'm just trying to get the guillotine because usually I could get the guillotine here. Now, if he were to spike me, right, like if he were to just slam me, he's risking spiking his own head. So that's not a good defense if any of you start thinking that, right? They end up spiking their own head. And you would see this in like pro wrestling a lot, right? The DDT, right? So I remove the guillotine and go to a basic Kimura, right? So basic Kimura, again, I have leverage here. I could throw my right leg over his head, but I don't because I don't like the position. And I like to practice what I preach, right? In a self-defense situation, personally, I probably wouldn't have done this. But it was fun, and he's able to lift me like nothing because he's just that strong. So I shoot for a low leg single. And I connect it again. And I'm able to finish. He's going to use his body to kind of suplex me. As he does, I realize that. I immediately switch my base. And I'm going to put all the pressure on his sternum with my right shoulder. So right here, some things I could work on is driving forward. I don't as much. Instead, I hop around and I get away with this low leg single that I really wanted to work on. And so from here, I'm hugging the legs to prevent him from turtling. And I'm trapping his shoulder. See how my elbow meets the mat? My hip is connected to his shoulder. And now I'm able to go to knee on belly, which I really love for self-defense because it allows you to look at your peripheral vision and see if anybody is going to try to attack you. It's able to control your opponent. It's a good way to control someone without hurting them. He gives me the arm, so I throw my leg over and connect the arm bar, go immediately to a Kimura trap, pinch my knees. Again, I'm going to focus on that wrist and reach all the way to my right side. Pinch my knees, tighten my hips, and that's the roll. It was awesome rolling with Scott. I was really impressed with someone his size of how quick he moves and how technical he is. He's over 6 feet, over 6'2", probably, about 290. A lot of muscle, a lot of brains too, because he was able to use his body really well. So in this situation, this is much more of a grappling match. I was able to go for the low leg single, kind of like the match from back in the day. If you remember the match in the UFC between James Toney and Randy Couture, he uses nothing but a low leg single, takes him down, and gets, I believe, a head and arm choke back in the day. I can't really remember. You guys can correct me in the comments. It's been a while. But I know that James Toney was a pound for pound, one of the best heavyweights of our time, and challenged MMA. And Randy Couture, who was easily outweighed, used a low leg single to control someone bigger. And so that's kind of what I wanted to do today. In a real situation, in a real fight, I probably would have done the same thing, a low leg single all day. Probably would have disrupted that with like a combination of jabs and crosses and leg kicks just to keep them guessing, and then shoot the low leg single and do the same thing, pass, stay on top, and probably go for a Kimura or a back choke. So anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and I'll be looking to do some more of these. See you soon.